Good morning, students. Welcome to the class. Today, we are going forward in a chapter, Cell Fundamental Unit of Life, with another topic that is compound microscope and cell theory. Yes, students, today in this chapter, we will discuss what is compound microscope and how it is helpful in developing cell theory. Clear? So, students, I want to ask you some question. Are you ready? Okay, fine. So students, today, first of all, I want to ask you that if you were given a superpower to look inside your skin, what would you expect? Any idea? Smaller organisms like this. But yes, science had already given you a superpower to look inside your cells. That is the microscope. So today we are going on a journey, but not alone, to look inside our body. We are going with the help of microscope, that is the compound microscope. So let us see the objectives of today. In this chapter, we will discuss the structure and working of a compound microscope. We will learn about magnification and resolving power of microscope, know the uses of compound microscopes in science, and understand the cell theory. Imagine, students, you are trying to read a book where each letter is the size of bacteria. How would you read it? Is it possible? No. Maybe you will use the simple magnifying glass. Is it going to give you the clear image? No, it wouldn't be clear enough. So let me introduce to the hero, the superhero of science lab, that is the compound microscope. Look at the images here. Can you tell me what makes this compound microscope special? Can you tell me, students? Here you see that this microscope has lenses. Here it will give you the clear image of cells. It will give you different types of cell. Here in both of the pictures, are you able to see that different types of cells are there? So compound microscope is going to help you to look different types of cells and their structures. Let's find out the definition of compound microscope. Compound microscope is an optical instrument. Optical, it means that it uses light and lenses. And why we are saying the term compound? Any idea? Student, can you tell me why we are not just simply saying microscope? Why we are using compound? Compound means it has more than one lenses, two or more. Fine. So compound microscope is an optical instrument that used to observe small objects by magnifying them. And it uses two or more lenses to produce a clear image and magnified image. And yes, student, it is very special that it can magnify up to 1000 to 2000 times. It means that it makes an ant look like the size of a fish. Isn't it interesting? Let's find out more things about compound microscope. Now we are familiar with the compound microscope. What is compound microscope? Why we are using this? Now it's time to discuss what makes it special. What are the parts? What is the gear? Students, every superheroes have their gear, is it or not? Iron Man has his suit, is it? Thor has his hammer. Similarly, microscope, the superhero of science lab, has its gear. And these are the parts. Fine. So I know that you find it very difficult. That is a very complex labeling of the microscope. Is it or not? This is very complicated, but don't worry. I will make it clear for you. I will make it easy for you. First of all, student, divide the parts of microscopes into two regions, mechanical parts and optical parts. So just have a look have a look on this microscope. Just see it. Are you able to see this clearly? So what are mechanical parts? Simple mechanical parts are just like the bones and muscles of the microscope. Can you tell me in our body, what is the function of bones and muscles? Any idea? Yes, it helps us. It helps us in movement. Is it or not? It makes our body structure. Yes. Similarly, mechanical parts of the microscope, they help microscope move, adjust, and focus. Let's see what are the parts. Base, arm, stage, coarse adjustment knob, fine adjustment knob. Look here in this diagram. This is the base. This this is the base, and the base is that part which holds the microscope. And arm. This is the arm part by which you can hold the microscope. This is the stage of the microscope where you keep your slide to observe the image, to observe the specimen. This is the coarse adjustment knob, which is going to move the arm of the microscope, and fine adjustment knob. This will also going to move the microscope arms left and right. Now let's have a look on optical parts. Optical parts. Optical means these parts, they are used to see the object, to look at the objects. They are just like eye and lens of the microscope. What are the parts? Eyepiece. This is the eyepiece here on the top of the microscope. Objective lens. And these objective lens have different magnifications, low, medium, and high. These are the objective lens, three. Look here. Next, mirror or light source. This is the mirror and from which light source will come. Condenser. Condenser is also going to illuminate the light on the mirror. So this was all about the parts of compound microscope. Good to go to the next slide. How it works. Now we are clear with the microscope parts. Now it's time to discuss how these parts combine and help in viewing the smaller objects. What is the working of compound microscope? First point, light source illuminates the object. Yes. Look at this image here. What is happening here? The light source is coming. This is the lamp. This is the light source, and it is falling on the mirror. And ultimately, it will reaches to your eyes. So light source of the microscope illuminates the object so that we can see it clearly. Clear or not? It's like students, suppose if I will give you some rice grains in which tiny tiny secret message is written. Are you able to read it with lights off? No, exactly like this. Okay, so microscopes also need light. Next, objective lens creates an enlarged image. Yes, of course. Objective lens is a lens which is near to the object, and it will give you a image, but not the final image. Eyepiece lens further magnifies the image. Eyepiece lens is that image which is going to magnify the image one more time to the objective lens. Suppose if your objective lens is magnifying 40 times, then eyepiece lens is going to magnify it 10 times. So collectively, the image will come like 400 times magnified. This is how we will adjust the microscope. And once the image is formed, okay, it is properly magnified, it is properly zoomed, and you will be able to see the image clear. Next, uses of compound microscope. And I'm sure that you know some of the uses of compound microscope. Let's start. Study of cells and tissues in biology. Students, look here, what is happening here? The scientist or the chemist, he is actually observing cells and tissues. Is it or not? So, compound microscope is used to study cells and tissues. So with the help of compound microscope, we are now able to understand how nerve cells in our body perform their functions, how our heart works, how our kidney works. So this is the reason why microscope is very important. Scientists and lab technicians, they study cells and tissues to discover new things. It is used in clinical laboratories. Yes, of course. Doctors and lab technicians, they study cells. For what? To diagnose any kind of disease. They also do tissue biopsy to find what is actually happening inside the tissues, to observe how the cells are dividing, is it or not? So this is how the compound microscope is used in clinical laboratories. Basically, it is used to find out the disease, to diagnose the disease. Doctors use blood samples to diagnose the disease. Next, forensic investigation. Yes, compound microscope is also used in forensic investigations during crimes. Okay, basically in crime labs, the scientists, they are going to study tiny hair particles, tiny blood samples under the microscope to solve the crime. So this is the reason why we are able to find out the criminal. Next, education and research purposes. Education, like you students are doing in your school labs. If I have discussed you in the last class how uh, we are able to observe the onion cells under the microscope. So microscope is also used in education purposes. Students are observing to find out what is actually happening inside the plant cells, in animal cells. And in research areas, scientists and researchers, scholars, they are using compound microscope to discover new things. So this was all about the use of microscope or the compound microscope. Safety and handling tips. Now, compound microscope has many uses. Okay, it is very important tool. So it's our duty to keep it safe by performing some precautions. Am I clear to you? Students, if I drop microscope on the table, what would happen? It will break. You will get in trouble because that's very expensive. Is it or not? So we must follow some precautions to keep them safe. First, carry with both hands. One on arm, one on base, like here in this picture. Whenever you are taking the microscope from one place to another, you just have to hold with your both hands. Okay, one hand should be on the base and the second hand should be on the arm, just like you are carrying a small baby. Next, start with lowest magnification. It is very important that whenever you are able to see the object, whenever you are trying to observe the object, start with the lowest magnification because it will give you a wider image. It will give you a clear image. Next, clean lenses only with lens paper. Lens paper, there are specialized papers which are basically made to clean the lenses. They are very delicate, and if you clean with lens paper, the lens will be very clear and you will be get rid of any kind of scratches. Do not touch the glass with fingers. It is very important to not judge the glass of the microscope with fingers because it will give a fingerprint on your lenses. So what will happen when you see object, when you see specimen under the microscope, what will happen? It will give you a blurred image. So these are the safety and handling tips of microscopes. Points to remember. Students, these are some of the points which is very important for the microscope. Compound microscope is essential in observing microscopic life. Yes, of course. Compound microscope is going to is going to give you a magnified image by the help of which you will be able to see microscopic life about bacteria, about cells and tissues. It consists of optical and mechanical parts. I've told you that if you find that microscopic parts are very difficult to understand, so you can divide it to zones, mechanical parts and optical parts. Optical parts are going to help you to see the object, and mechanical parts are going to help the microscope to move here and there. Proper use and maintenance is necessary. Yes, if we are using microscope, we have to handle it very carefully. Okay, carefully. Okay, we just have to, you know, clear the. We just have to basically clean the lens with the help of a paper. So it is very necessary. Now this was all about the microscope. Now it's time to discuss, students, how the microscopes are used to develop the cell theory. History of cell theory. There are three scientists involved in the developing of cell theory. First scientist, Matthias Schleiden. He was a botanist and he was observing on plants. After that, he found that all plants are made up of cells. Later on, in 1839, another scientist, Theodor Schwann, who was a German zoologist, and that time he observed different types of animals and found that yes, animals are also made up of different types of cells. So together, these two scientists, Matthias Schleiden and Theodor Schwann, they teamed up and given the very first point of cell theory, that is, all plants and animals are made up of cells. After that, the third scientist came in 1855, Rudolf Virchow, and he has given another statement, that is omnis cellula e cellula, which means all cells arise from pre-existing cells. Clear? So this is the overview of the cell theory, the main points of cell theory. All organisms are composed of one or more cells. The cell is the structural and functional unit of living organism. And the last one, all cells arise from pre-existing cell. It means the cells will going to divide and it will form a new cells. Here, so that was all of the concept. Students, now I'm just giving you 2 minutes to take out your notebook and then we are going to solve some of the questions related with the topic. Here, let's find out and go through the topic once again. Are you ready, students? Let's start with the very first question. Multiple choice question. Who proposed that all plants are made up of cells? Very simple. What is the correct answer? Rudolf Virchow, Robert Hooke, Matthias Schleiden, and Theodor Schwann. Students, I'm talking about plants. Who has given this statement? Scientist Matthias Schleiden. Good. Next. Omnis cellula e cellula. What is the meaning of that term? Tell me, this statement is given by which scientist? Rudolf Virchow. Okay, and it means that all cells came from pre-existing cells. Next, cell theory does not apply to students. I was about to tell you that cell theory is basically all for living organism, and if we are talking about viruses, viruses are non-living. So the answer here is viruses because cell theory is going to tell you about living organisms only. So viruses are not living organisms. Clear? Next, what is the function of the objective lens in a compound microscope? Focuses light, reflect light, magnify the object, and hold the slide. What is the correct option here? It magnify the object. Good, students. Now match the following. Very simple. Column A, you have to match the correct scientist with the column B. Schleiden. What is the correct answer here? Student is related with? What is the correct answer? Yes, of course, it is related with plants. He was a botanist who observed plants and found that plants are made up of cells. Next, Sean. Sean was a zoologist and he was studying on animals to find out that yes, animals are also made up of cells. Next, Virchow. Rudolf Virchow. Rudolf Virchow given the statements omnis cellula e cellula, which means all cells arise from pre-existing cells. Cell, simple. Cell is the basic unit of life. Next question. Can you think of two daily life examples where cell division helps you? Students, can you tell me? Think of it. Two daily life examples. Simple. Growing of hair. One example is growing of hair is the most important, example that yes, cells are dividing and healing your wounds. When you got a cut with a knife or something else, what will happen? It starts bleeding. But after few minutes, the bleeding will stop. Why? Because new cells arise. What process in your body requires cell division? Tell me what is the process in your body which keeps on going and which is the best example of cell division. Simple. Whenever you are growing, growth is the process which acquires cell division. The old cells will going to multiply and divide and it will form new cells. Next, how would life be different if cells couldn't divide? What will happen? Growth will be affected. No reproduction will take place. These are the examples and your body will not going to work properly. So this is very important that the cell will divide. Clear? So I'm sure that you got the points clear. So students, if you have any issue, any confusion, you can talk to your mentor. Okay. And before leaving the session, I just want to have a recap of what we have studied. Clear? What are the things we have recapped? We have discussed about compound microscope. What is compound microscope? It is the microscope which has more than one lenses, and it is going to magnify the object. And what is the magnification? Tell me what is the magnification? It can multiply, it can magnify it up to 1,000 to 2,000 times. These are the special points of compound microscope. Now, just think of the how many parts of there in the compound microscope. I told you that if you want to divide it, how many parts are there? There are two parts, mechanical parts and optical parts. What are the mechanical parts? Base, arm, stage, adjustment knobs. These are the mechanical parts and they are going to help the microscope to move. And optical parts, these are the lenses. Okay, these are the main optical parts by which you are able to see the specimen. Clear? And what are the points to remember when you are handling the microscope? You have to hold it with your hands. One hand should be on the base and the another hand should be on the arm. And you have to clean the microscope with lens paper. These are the points to remember whenever you are handling the microscope. And what we have studied more about cell theory. With the help of microscope, the scientists develop cell theory. What are the three scientists? Matthias Schleiden, is it or not? Theodore Schwann and Rudolf Virchow. What are the points? That all cells, what? All cells are basically made up of pre-existing cells. Cell is the structure and functional unit of life, and every living organism is made up of cells. Whether we are talking about plants and animals, they all are made up of cells. Clear? So this was all about the chapter. I'm sure that you are clear with the topic. So that's all from my side, students. Meet you in the next session. Thank you.